Thank you for joining me on today's 820 episode, your daily urgency meeting about resilience. Remember, the book itself, Resilience, the Beauty of Presence, and each and every 820 episode, I hope serves to remind you, to guide you, suggest to you to develop your own depth and breadth of your resilience. I offer you some definitions, models, and experiences from me, not as the objective or goals or the way to do it, maybe as something to help you as you develop your own approach to remaining resilient, but also may take them as maybe a low-level baseline that it's been done by this person, but may not apply to you exactly. But I offer to you the commonness that we share together and not so much how different we might be. Today's topic is called Horizon of Absolute Nothingness and Everythingness. Can you see that in yourself? What I just said? A horizon of absolute nothingness, yet everythingness. I use that as a description of a road trip my son and I took the other day. My son had just he had just experienced and completed an internship in Detroit and was preparing for his return trip to DC to finish college at Howard University. But for further context on the title for this episode today, I had lived probably 90% of my adult life after the Army in cities like Boston, Chicago, Washington, D.C. Only over the past year or so have I found solitude and peace and productivity away from the cities, in open spaces, in the desert, and in the mountains. But now onto that road trip. About a 3.5 hour drive to the ranch of my dear brother, friend, and one of my fellow Cold Steel Charlie paratroopers at the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg. We drove deep into the east heart of New Mexico, where we encountered at Shane's Ranch about 23,000 acres of land and property that he'd attended to each and every day. No rest for the weary or the best at what Shane does on that ranch. He knows and works every part of that ranch, sun up to sundown, and definitely in between as well. That visit with Shane was quite humbling and impressive to spend time with Shane and his son, Mason. On that day trip, in a ranch dune buggy, Shane and Mason showed me and my son about half of the reach, the depth, and breadth of the ranch. It wasn't so much about the animals, the wildlife, the river, the pond, the lakes, the cows, the steers, the horses, the views for miles and miles. No matter which way we turned, everything and nothing appeared to us at the same time. The solitude, the remoteness, the quiet of where we would stand and take in the magnificence of this country on his ranch. There were no cars, no traffic, no buildings, no clouds, hell, no people except for the four of us in and outside of that vehicle. Silence and beauty all around us and within us. I cannot serve this experience fully in these few words I'm sharing with you today. I just want to summarize the trip and for the purposes of this 820 episode. Another inference and reference for you to consider on your daily journey towards resilience. As I introduced this discussion today, I asked you to see if you can see that in you, the openness, the everythingness, and the nothingness of your beauty and your silence. That offers you, that perspective offers you everything from the nothing that we actually are in the universe or galaxy or world. Regardless of how you may or may not have a lot of stuff externally in terms of stuff and money and clothes and food and other nice to have things, can you find that suchness within you, and similar to what I described on the road trip with me and my son, that everythingness yet nothingness? In a loosely connected way, I am still referencing what I've mentioned in other episodes about that constant love within me, from my heart, within you, from your heart, and that thing, if we get a bit more granular, that pulses through us all day as long as we live, that to me is more of an example and an instance of what love looks like and feels like. Not about that kissing and making out part of love, because we don't create that either. We can produce that with another human being, but that love is always here that connects you and I. That is the everythingness that I'm mentioning. That is, maybe for you out there that don't really see that perspective, is the nothingness, yet it's the allness where we all live and how we are connected, how we were born, where we came from, and where we are going. So I'm only asking you to consider, as I mentioned in other episodes, my guarantee to you to change your perspective on this present moment about all the stuff you have. Well, what about the nothingness, yet the everythingness within you and within I that we are sharing right now? I've given you nothing except some words and hopefully the sincerity that you can discern from this presentation today. I only ask you to get here with me, inside to your everythingness and inside to your nothingness as a baseline for your resilience. Stay present. Stay current. Yes, it is still 820.